Hi, this is Adam THANZ from Bays Mountain Park and Planetarium in Kingsport, Tennessee, and we're about to do a tour of the fall sky at night, and we're going to be looking at some very interesting objects in that night sky. We're going to be looking at some constellations, specifically Cassiopeia and Perseus, and we're also going to be looking at two other constellations that are near each other, Pegasus and Andromeda. These four constellations are prominent in our fall skies, and also be looking at some of the interesting deep sky objects found within, like some very interesting clusters of stars and a very nice and very large galaxy. Well, here we are in our late fall, very early winter sky, where we are going to be learning about two nice constellations that are rising in the northeastern sky right now after sunset. And they are two constellations that are very well known, that of Cassiopeia and Perseus. Now, Cassiopeia and Perseus are actually linked together with a very interesting story of the night sky. It also involves another constellation, Andromeda, which is actually in the same view, but I'm going to have another video bit that actually talks about that. But Cassiopeia can be easily recognized as what looks like either an M or a W shape. And so let me show you. You can see my laser pointer, and we can see right here this W shape right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. And so these 5 stars make the throne to Queen Cassiopeia. I didn't mention she is a queen, and so let me show you her throne first. And she's actually upside down, and there's a reason for that. First of all, we're going to find, and you're probably not going to see it in this video, but there is a star right over here. It's very faint. And from that star to this star, it makes the seat of the throne, and it's upside down. And then over here, these two stars make the back of the throne. The legs of the throne go upwards like that and that. And so we can see the legs and the seat and the back of the throne there. And so that is Queen Cassiopeia. The story goes is that Cassiopeia is obviously sitting in her throne upside down now, but she was the most vain person ever. So vain, she actually considered herself the most beautiful woman, and even more beautiful than the sea nymphs. Well, back in ancient Greece, you don't do that. You don't say that, because everybody knows the sea nymphs are the most beautiful creatures ever. And so Queen Cassiopeia was being punished by that comment by Neptune, who was over the seas. And Neptune then wanted to punish her, and so he sent a sea monster called CETUS, which is actually very low in the southeast sky right now. Unfortunately, those stars are very faint and very difficult to see. But a sea monster. Now, we know the sea monster now as a whale. That is what a sea monster is. But they call it a sea monster. And the sea monster was going to be sent to destroy Cassiopeia's city that she was queen of. And so Queen Cassiopeia didn't want her city to be destroyed, and so she wanted to sacrifice somebody, none other than her own daughter, Andromeda. And you should be able to see it in this view, and it's over here to the right a little bit, and it extends right on the edge over here to this bright star, and then it's these stars here, and these stars here. And we're actually going to see 3 pairs of stars. Those 2 arcs are actually the long flowing gown of Andromeda. And so she chained up Andromeda to a sea cliff to appease Cetus, the sea monster. And very faintly, you're not going to see it with this video, but I will point it out that from the head of Andromeda right there down to the first pair of stars over here to the right and the left is where the arms of Andromeda are chained to the sea cliff, the rock cliff, I should say, and then her long flowing gown there. And so she was about to get eaten up by the sea monster. Well, don't fear, the hero is arriving. And the hero is none other than Perseus. Let me point him out. And he is below Cassiopeia. So once again, Cassiopeia, the W shape, right there. Then just below, and it's kind of in the trees for me, but we're going to see Perseus, his head's up here. Part of his body and arms go there. His arm goes out to there, his other arm. And his body goes down. There's a star down there. And so we see Perseus here. Now, Perseus was the hero known in Greek mythology and very clever, very brave. He had just finished vanquishing the queen of the Gorgons. And who was that? Well, none other than Medusa. Medusa with the snakes for hair. The most ugly person ever. And even if you looked at her, you would turn to stone. And so, in order for Perseus to vanquish Medusa, the queen of the Gorgons, he didn't look at her. He looked at her reflection in his shield and cut off her head. Well, yes, it is kind of a gory story, but that is the story that it goes. And the head of Medusa is actually seen with Perseus. So once again, here's the head of Perseus. One arm goes off to the left there, and off to the right, you're going to see kind of a bright star right there that I'm pointing to. That star is Algol, and it's the evil demon eye of Medusa. And so what did Perseus do when he saw Cetus just coming out of the water to gobble up Andromeda? He pulled out Medusa's head from a bag and showed it to Cetus, and of course, you guessed it, turned into stone, fell back into the sea, and all was saved. It's not quite the end of the story, because the blood of Medusa dripped down into the sea foam, and out sprang Pegasus, the flying horse, which I don't know if you're going to be able to see. I'll point it out. I know it's right on the edge of this view. So the head of Andromeda is right there, which I hope you can see. And then over here is the square of Pegasus. I am going to be showing Pegasus and Andromeda in just a little bit. Because where else are you going to get a flying horse with the blood of Medusa dripping down into the sea foam? Well, that's a very quick version of the story behind Perseus and Cassiopeia and Andromeda and Pegasus and Cetus and Medusa. But astronomically, these are constellations. We make these pictures up with the stars. The stars are all at different distances away from us, and they have actually nothing to do with each other. I'm going to be showing some deep sky objects also within this video of areas to look for. Binoculars are a great object, a great device to use to look for a very special celestial object that's actually kind of bright. In a very dark sky, it is visible to the unaided eye, but binoculars will show it well, and that is the double cluster. And it is right in between Perseus and Cassiopeia. So we have our laser pointer on again, and oops. There we go, sorry. We have Cassiopeia, the W shape. Down below right here, we have Perseus. Well, right in between, right here, right in between the head of Perseus And the bottom part of Cassiopeia's throne, right there, is the double cluster. And the double cluster is two very nice open clusters. An open cluster is a loose gathering of stars that all formed out of the same region of space. Many of the open clusters we see are young or middle-aged, but none are extremely old. They can be found along the Milky Way, our galaxy, because that's where stars form now, as in the spiral arms of the galaxy. And so the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, actually runs right through Perseus and Cassiopeia, right along there. And the double cluster are two clusters of stars, each with a number of hundreds of stars each, and are near each other in space. So imagine a large cloud in space that eventually collapsed on itself and new stars formed out of it, and you're going to have a cluster of stars there. Well, this is two of those regions near each other in space. And again, this is a very nice binocular object, the double cluster. Algol, remember? Talked about that star, the demon star, the evil eye of Medusa right there. Well, that evil star right there, Algol, the reason they called it that, the star, is because it actually changes in brightness every couple of days. That's right. And there's a reason for that. And we now know that that star is a variable eclipsing binary star. That's a big title. Well, first of all, a variable star is a star that literally gets bigger and smaller and varies in brightness as it gets bigger and smaller. But it's actually a multi-star system. And so we have two stars, essentially, that are orbiting each other. It's actually one star orbiting two other stars. But when that happens, if the alignment is right, and one star passes in front of the other star, well, it blocks the light from the background star and thus dims in brightness. And then you can actually tell about the system because when it eclipses, when the other one gets in front of it, there's a difference in how different the light level is, if I'm not making it confusing. So imagine a big star traveling in front of a small star. The small star's brightness disappears because it's blocked totally, but it's only a little dip in the brightness. When the little star drops in front of the big star, it's a different amount. The amount of light is different. And so that tells us what kind of a star the two stars are and all sorts of things. So binary stars are very useful in our understanding of star formation and what kinds of stars are out there, and much, much more, because you can find out a lot from an eclipsing binary star. So Algol, the demon star, right there, and nothing to be scared of, but something to enjoy understanding what you are seeing. So in our view right here, again, Cassiopeia and Perseus. Well, here we are looking at two more constellations in our evening sky, late fall, early winter time period. And just after sunset, looking towards the east, we are looking at Pegasus, the flying horse, and Andromeda, the chained maiden. And you've already heard the story about Andromeda and Pegasus in relation to Cassiopeia and Perseus in the sky. So let me point out the constellations now. First, let's do Andromeda. And you can see from my pointer right here, I hope you can see, there we go, that we've got the head of Andromeda right there. And then we have two pairs of stars, another pair, and another pair. And so we actually see two arcs of stars right here. right there. And that's her long flowing gown. Her head's up on top. From the first pair of stars off to the right and the left, we see the arms of Andromeda chained to the rock cliff. And then over here, sharing a star with Andromeda, and this star is called Alpheratz, is Pegasus, the flying horse. And we're going to find the body of the horse first. First of all, we're going to find this giant square in the sky, high overhead right now. And that is the body of the horse. Now, our horse is pretty agile because he's flying upside down in our skies. From over here, we find his neck and head. Here is the neck, the eye, and the nose right there. Neck and head. And the body of the horse. And I don't think you're going to see all of it, but his front galloping legs are up there and up here. But the body is very recognizable. Then, of course, the neck and head right there. So do try to look for Pegasus, the flying horse, and Andromeda. Now, I didn't show you all of Pegasus. Well, first of all, the wings. Well, there's no specific wings, so you can just draw wings any way you like. And then for the back legs, well, he doesn't have any. He's always shown as half a horse. And along this boundary here, he just fades away. Or sometimes you see the water's edge right along there. And that is when he was leaping out of the water. So he's always half a horse shown in the sky. And of course, Andromeda coming off to the other end there. So some deep sky objects, some interesting things to find. Well, let's start with Andromeda. Let's go back. And over here, if we go to the head of Andromeda, which shares the square of Pegasus, and we go down to the second pair of stars. Well, just above the pair of stars, and I can see it with just my eyes because it is dark here, is the Andromeda galaxy right there. And I will point out right now that just below almost the same amount from those two stars down here, but not very visible, is another galaxy called the Triangulum galaxy. Well, the Andromeda galaxy, the one that's above those two stars. So once again, here's those two stars, and there, right there, is the Andromeda galaxy. That is another galaxy like our Milky Way galaxy. It is 2.5 million light years away from us. That means it takes light 2.5 million years for its light to travel to us. We don't see that galaxy as it is now. We see it as it was 2.5 million years ago. So that's pretty amazing. And that's a nearby galaxy to us. In fact, so close that in about 5 billion years, we're going to collide with that galaxy. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, and that galaxy are close enough that we will collide in 5 billion years. We're all part of what's called the local group of galaxies. The Andromeda galaxy is a real showpiece, and I'm going to show some interesting photographs like I showed of the double cluster, and I'm going to show you a picture of Andromeda, the Andromeda galaxy. And the spiral arms are visible, dust lanes are visible, and binoculars show it well as, and you won't see the structure, but you will see an oval of light. But you will be looking at another galaxy. The Triangulum galaxy, and I'm hoping I can get a photograph for you that I will take, but we will see, is another local group galaxy, but that one is very faint, very low, what's called surface brightness. So it's very difficult to see and to photograph. So we'll see. I'm actually going to try tomorrow to get a photograph, and so we'll see what I can get. But those are two very nice galaxies. But the Andromeda galaxy is easy in binoculars. It is, unless you're in really bad light-polluted skies. What else? Well, off the nose of Pegasus is a globular cluster. So let me use my pointer again, and we're going to find the great square of Pegasus once again. Then from here, we're going to find the neck and head. And there's the head, there's the eye, there's the nose. If we go out about equal to here, and that is where M15 is. A very nice and very old globular cluster. A globular cluster is different than an open cluster like I talked about earlier. Open clusters form within our galaxy, the disk of our galaxy. They're not really that old. They are at most a few thousand stars. Most are, a couple hundred stars to 1,000 stars. Globular clusters start at around 10,000, 50,000 stars, 100,000 stars, and go up in quantities. They're extremely old. They are as old as our galaxy itself. The M15 is about 12 billion years old. That is very old indeed. And we're not really sure about their origin. Some think it may be the remnant cores of ancient small galaxies that got gobbled up by other galaxies, which is a common thing. You're going to see in the M31 Andromeda galaxy picture 2 small galaxies that are orbiting it. Those are dwarf galaxies that are slowly being eaten up by the gravity of the large galaxy. We do the same thing. Our dwarf galaxies, the easy ones to see, are in the southern hemisphere sky, which we obviously cannot see from this area. I wish we could. And they're called the Magellanic Clouds. But globular clusters are very old. They are, they look like cotton balls in the sky. And hopefully I'll get a picture of that for you as well. And so I hope you do enjoy our late fall, early winter skies. Get out, go out, look up, look for the great square of Pegasus, look for Andromeda coming off of it, look for Cassiopeia and Perseus just to the left of those. So we have these 2 nice pairings of constellations to see and enjoy. So thank you.